There's a really strange, sort of bothersome phenomenon in superhero comics where the titular superheroes generally are not allowed to have long-lasting relationships that grow and evolve.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense too, because some of these characters that we've all fallen in love with, like Batman and Spider-Man, you know, Batman's been around for almost like 100 years at this point.
Yeah, and they want to keep publishing him for another 100 years, you know, which makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like one thing that's super frustrating recently in comics is that they keep having these characters get into relationships.
Our superheroes keep getting cucked, dude.
They keep getting cucked.
And it's brutal to read.
It's brutal, especially if you're a long-standing reader of a particular series, and they're always building up these relationships, you know, whether it's Catwoman and Batman,
Pete and MJ.
Pete and MJ. I like shudder at the thought of what's happening right now.
Oh my god.
And it's so frustrating because why can't these characters just be together?
I know. It's just, you start to think about why the writers want to cuck their superheroes, and it's like,
I think they're sick in the head.
no, I think
they're sick motherfuckers.
well,
dude.
there's that, but it's gotta be from some sort of self-experience.
Oh yeah, like an insert, like a personal insert.
That's
Like,
what I'm saying.
No.
Yeah, like my girlfriend cheated on me, so Spider-Man's getting
Yeah,
cheated
they
on.
got like done dirty when they were 15, and they're like channeling their inner rage about it.
Spider-Man is gonna be the main focus of our video today about superheroes getting cucked because it happens to him the most. It seems like that's what Marvel wants.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Thomas.
I'm Merlin.
We're the Comic Lads, and today we're talking about why our superheroes keep getting cucked.
But before we get started, guys, let's start on a high note. Please let us know in question of the week, who is your favorite comic book relationship?
Is it, you know, like a classic decade-spanning one, like Superman and Lois? Or is it a new one, you know, like MJ and Paul?
No, God!
Anyone who says that is banned from the channel.
Yeah, please unsub. No, I'm kidding.
Also, guys, don't forget to like the video. It really helps us out. We're a small growing channel, so every like really goes a long way to help us out. And please consider subscribing. Join the Comic Lads.
Become a fellow lad. We love you all so much.
We love you dearly.
Thank you for joining us, and let's get into the video.
But before we get into the main subject of this video, the spectacular spider cuck, let's get into a few examples of other superheroes that have just been done dirty. You want to run through just a few of the other ones we've had to deal with in the last 10 years?
Absolutely. Well, a fun little one that you kind of brought up. He's not really getting cucked, but the first time Superman and Batman meet in the beloved DC animated universe, Lois Lane starts dating Bruce Wayne before Clark.
I can't believe it.
And they shove it in his face, bro.
No, they make Clark such a little bitch.
It's
like,
brutal.
It's really brutal, especially since, like,
They become like best friends.
they
after.
become, I know, they become best friends, and it's like, dude, he smashed your girl. Like, what the hell?
Before she was your girl.
I could never. I could freaking never, dude. It is wild. And it sucks too, because if you watch Superman the animated series, they spend like, what is it, 2-3 seasons?
3 seasons, and like
3 seasons.
and it takes them like 3 seasons just to kiss.
Yeah.
Bruce and Lois are banging in the first episode they meet.
I know. Like, literally gets off the plane and they're banging that same night. It is so wild.
So good. Another one that just upsets me to my core. It took place back when Jeff Johns was writing his extremely celebrated Green Lantern run.
Legendary run.
Legendary run, where throughout that whole run, he kind of brought Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and Carol Ferris, Star Sapphire together. He built up their relationship
Very naturally, too.
really naturally, slowly over dozens and dozens of issues.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he kind of had this beautiful, like, flash forward to the future where they end up together.
I love that ending to
Where
his
they're
run.
holding hands with the rings, bro.
It's one of the best images in comics, I think.
Oh my god. Yeah, but then the next arc, when the new writer took over, she's banging Kyle, the younger Green Lantern.
That's so vile, dude.
What fucking idea was that,
It's
dude?
just like, why are we passing around these characters to everyone?
so
Like, the guys and the girls.
Yeah, what-
I never want to even think of that. Kyle, in his own storylines, has so many love interests already.
He's got Jade. He's got the Green Lantern from Sinestro's space sector.
Naku or whatever.
Natu.
Natu, that's
Yeah.
I know, there's like no reason. Like, if you want him to be in a relationship, at least in a turbulent one, there's so much source material to draw from.
And then Hal's like, what the fuck? What's happening? And then Carol's like, dude, don't make a big thing out of it.
But it's also like, okay, I'd understand if Carol got into another relationship or fling with like a different hero that's separate from the Lantern Corps.
But
Why is it
like
another
brother.
Lantern? I know, why is it another Green Lantern who's like one of his best friends? In no words.
I'm freaking out.
Let's get into a few times Batman has been cut, because that's been happening too much in the last like decade.
Too much, and it's always Catwoman that does it. So you brought up this one instance that just freaked me the hell out, where she starts messing around with Nightwing.
I hate it.
Ew!
Dude, there's this one page that I was reading where they're like getting fired at by a bunch of criminals, and they're making out on like the
my god.
And like
you're talking about.
And like the thrill of getting shot at, effing each other, I don't know if I can say that word, is like turning them on. It's the worst freaking page ever, dude.
Dude, you know there's a whole episode of the new Batman Adventures, like when they changed the animation style, about that. It's about Catwoman kind of starting to get interested in Nightwing, and you're like, Bruce Timm, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah, well, at the same time, Batman's sleeping with Batgirl, so...
Yeah, right? And, getting her pregnant.
Come on, man.
The animated universe canon is fucked.
I think Bruce Timm is just fucked.
Yeah, he's sick of that.
He's sick, dude.
I'm worried for Cape Crusader, bro.
Me too.
Oh my god. There's another time, back in Under the Red Hood, bro, when they brought Jason Todd back to life, Talia starts, like, banging him?
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd!
I know.
Ew!
And he's confirmed to be, like, what, 18 at that time?
Like, hopefully, like, maybe cross
That's, like, so icky.
It's gross. And, like, it's not as if Talia wasn't already gross. She roofied Bruce to have Damian, right?
If you're in the top contender to be Batman's greatest love, which she's often in the discussion with Catwoman...
Yeah, for me, she's
out of the list.
She's disgusting.
She's fucking barred from the list, dude.
Horrible person.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just crazy, man. I don't know why they keep doing this. They even have it like recently where Batman and Catwoman haven't been together for a little while. They were supposed to get married during Tom King's run. That's a whole other video. But like, there's just been multiple comics recently in the last like 2-3 years, I want to say, where it's the exact same scene that plays out the exact same way. Bruce is sad. He calls Selina and she's like, oh, Bruce. And Bruce just hears her boyfriend, like, moaning to her on the other end of the phone, and you're just like, oh, what's happening? What's happening?
It's such a hard freaking read, honestly.
So brutal.
Especially because they were so close to, like, cementing their relationship in the wedding in Tom King's run.
Yeah.
The end of that book, that volume particularly,
oh my god.
I've never been so disappointed in, like, a comic book, I think, in my entire life.
Yeah, it's the epitome of, like, getting blue balls when you're reading a comic book.
Yeah.
Should we talk about this now?
There's no avoiding it at this point.
Guys, we've touched upon it in our recent video that we did talking about who Spider-Man's greatest villain is. We narrowed it down to Green Goblin because the things he's done to Spider-Man are just egregious. Well, the one that we really touched upon in that video was when Green Goblin banged Gwen Stacy before he killed her. And before she ever slept with Peter. Canonically, they never slept together.
Yeah, they were both virgins.
Yeah, but she banged Norman.
In that run, Pete actually reveals, like, oh, we never went that far.
Yeah, and bro, there's a freaking panel of him where he's talking about Gwen, and he says, like, did she ever mention if Norman was the first to... And he starts crying, and you're like, what?
I hate that.
Am I reading?
You know what's so whack about that too is that MJ kept that from him all those years. Like, bro, he's done so dirty, man.
Like, Pete, I've seen
Honestly, dude, like, your current girlfriend is keeping from you that your ex-girlfriend,
who is your greatest love,
your previous love of your life,
first love,
she was banging your worst enemy before you,
and they had kids,
and they had freaking psychotic twin kids, dude.
Boggles the mind.
It boggles the mind, and you know what really hurts? The panels.
Oh my god.
Dude, the panels of Osborn and his fucking orgasm face. It's the worst thing.
Put them on the screen because we've seen them, which means you guys have to see them.
I can't deal with it.
It is just unbelievable. Now, before you guys mention it in the comments, we are aware that this whole Gwen and Norman debacle has been retconned.
Thank God.
Thank God for sure. It still was written, illustrated, lettered, published, and Pete, to this day in canon, is still traumatized by that, even if he, like, technically knows that it was a lie.
Yeah, I'm gonna say also, if it hadn't have had the backlash it did, I don't think they would have retconned it.
No, of course not. Yeah. They fucking wrote it.
Because
they were like, yeah, this is good.
Everyone collectively hated that. Okay, so we're not actually done with Pete. There's a couple other instances where he's been cucked.
We're not even close to done.
No, definitely not. The second worst one that we could find is in the Superior Spider-Man arc, when he's cucked by freaking Doc Ock.
In his mind.
How can you be cucked by your two biggest villains?
Do you see what I mean, though? Where it's like there's some sick obsession that Marvel editorial has with doing this to Spider-Man?
No, they're messed up in the head.
It has to be rooted in some real-life occurrences, bro.
I'm just more surprised that Marvel editorial hasn't, like, shut that down. Once is more than enough, if it's ever to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But, like, thrice? As we're gonna talk about.
But, dude, should we get into the final one? Because it's not just super villains that are cucking Spider-Man.
I consider him a villain, dude. Dude, we had at least, I want to say, like 10 comments on our Spider-Man greatest villain video saying that Paul is Spider-Man's worst enemy.
He definitely is, honestly.
Guys, today we're talking about Paul, the current writer on Amazing Spider-Man, Zeb Wells. I'm pretty sure this guy must have received like dozens and dozens of death threats from like crazy Spider-Man fans, and we don't want to endorse
we don't condone that.
Any type of shit like that. Yeah. If you're not a true comic book fan if you do that. These people are just writers.
Even though they're sick in the head sometimes.
Yeah, no, Zeb Wells is nuts, for sure.
Yeah, if anyone should deserve backlash, it's Marvel.
Absolutely.
For green-lighting these awful ideas.
Absolutely. And then like we're not attacking Zeb Wells as a person. Let's talk about this run, though.
Let's do it.
Guys, a little backstory here. Previously to the current run on Amazing Spider-Man, the book was written by Nick Spencer. And throughout his entire run, he was trying his damnedest to get Pete and MJ back together. They were at a point where you're like, oh shit, Pete and MJ might kind of be getting back together.
Yeah.
And then the new writer came on, Zeb Wells, and as soon as you pick up this new issue of Spider-Man, they're not together anymore. And like, it's like a mystery. You're like, oh, what did Pete do? You know, like what happened? Basically what happens is, you know, skipping a lot of shenanigans and details that we don't really need. MJ and Pete were in like an alternate universe.
Yeah, so he basically comes back 4 years later.
And his girl is married.
She's married and she has 2 kids. It's just wild.
For what reason?
I don't know.
Dude, when Paul dies in the comics, like...
It's gonna be a day of celebration.
We are, yeah.
It better be on, like,
live stream.
It better be on National Spider-Man Day. Everyone's gonna lose it in celebration, dude.
I just don't understand.
Well, I think that's why so many people are really refreshed with the current Ultimate Spider-Man run.
Absolutely.
Because fans have been asking for years for Pete and MJ to, you know, stay married, have kids, and grow up with the readers. You know what I mean? Like, we're not all going to be perpetually 25, 26 years old.
Yeah.
They want to see the Spider-Man mature. In Ultimate Spider-Man, you can finally see a mature Peter Parker that more or less has his shit together.
Yeah.
That's with MJ, and they're happily married, and they have each other's back.
It's crazy. It seems as though we're allowed to have that in every other medium besides the comics. We're just not allowed to have it in Main 616, bro.
It's also weird because it's like, obviously, they've been doing this dance for the last 60 plus years, you know, being together, will they, won't they? If the writer wants them to take a break, can't we just not know what's going on with MJ for like an arc or two and just focus on Peter and other stuff? Why do we have to like know that Pete isn't with MJ and he's getting cucked by this guy Paul? What the hell? Why can't they just take her out and just, if they want to, they can reintroduce them? But why is it constantly like, oh, let's get them back together. Let's have them break up. Oh, guess what? He's cucked now. It's like, what?
It's crazy to me, bro. It's just bullshit like this constantly.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's still like the #1 selling book at Marvel most months.
All the people that I've seen and read up on and interacted with that follow the run, begrudgingly buy it every week.
If you don't want them to be together, why is she in the book? Why do we have to have this Paul stuff and read about it?
But that's what I'm saying.
That's what you've been saying.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
just don't put her in the book.
I know, just make her do her own thing for a little bit, that old black cat jackpot shit or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let her do her own thing. I don't need to see Pete, like, crying into his freaking sheets every day that his girl's getting banged by another guy.
Absolutely.
Spider-Man's power is relatability, but it's like, even if that's happening to you, no one wants to relate.
I don't want to read about this.
I know.
If I'm someone that this happens to, you think I want to read about it happening to my greatest hero?
Yeah, my favorite hero of all time. Who's pulled me from the darkness. It's like you read fucking Spider-Man to have an escape, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
We need characters to just be together, and I would argue that the times in the past where Peter has been consistently in a healthy relationship with MJ has been some of the best runs of all time. Dude, Kraven's Last Hunt, some of my favorite panels ever is when he comes back from, quote-unquote being dead.
Sure.
And he's in the black suit, and he's just holding Mary Jane's hand up to his face.
Oh, it's beautiful. We've just been on a downward trend for Spider-Man and his relationships. MJ is his Lois Lane no matter what freaking way you slice it.
Thank God he actually is able to progress and have a kid.
God, they're like, no, him and Lois should be together because no one wants to read, relationship bullshit.
And can I just mention, everyone loves that.
Yeah, man. It's like my favorite part of every Superman story, the fact that they're together and that they lift each other up. We want to know, are there any MJ and Paul stands out there?
Fingers crossed not. Fingers crossed not.
Oh, let us know in the comments down below.
Also, guys, if you enjoyed the video and made it to the end, please give it a like. It really, really helps us out. And hit the subscribe button. Join the lads. And we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you. We love you dearly.
We love you all. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.